And back at it again with the live one for you. Hello, all my Bi-Conics wrestling fanatics across the YouTube channel, and welcome to another Beat the Clock edition of Impact Wrestling, where I give you the rundown of what's been happening in Impact Wrestling. This was another fun week. We got a lot of build towards emergence, and we got some fun stuff anyways. So, without further ado, I am your host, Mikey, and I am going to be giving you the play-by-play this week of what happened on this week's Impact. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. After we get a video package that recaps all the stuff that happened last week, and if you aren't sure, you can go ahead and check my review from last week to see what happened on Impact. And we jump straight where we send it to the ring for the second tag team tournament match. So, the opening contest is a number one contender tournament semifinal round, where we see the team of ABC, which is Ace Austin and Chris Bay, taking on the team of Sami Callihan and Rich Swann. So, the winners of this match will go on to face the Rascals, and the winner of that final match will head to Emergence to face off against Subculture for the Impact Tag Team Championships. The match starts by Bay and Swann. They start running around and countering each other. Bay lands a midsection kick followed by a drop kick. Ace comes in and traps Swann in a headlock. Swann works his way up and tags out, and then at this point, Sami assists. Bay kicks Sami before hitting a moonsault off the middle rope, which was a beautiful thing to see. We then cut to commercial, and when we come back, Swann and Bay are now in the ring. Bay lands a spine buster for a cover. ABC hits click, clack, boom on Swann for the cover again, but to no avail. Bay lands a couple of chest kicks. Bay finally kicks Ace in the head to get the tag out. Sami comes in with the clothesline to Bay. He hits the 2-for-1 DDT combo on ABC. Bay strikes Sami, but Sami counters with a DVD for the cover. Swann attempts a 450, but Bay evades at this point. Ace tags in before ABC double teams Swann with a neck breaker for a near fall. Sami traps Bay in a chicken wing. Bay manages to roll back and out to escape while Ace and Swann battle on the outside. Ace tags in, double kick to Sami. AOF and the Fold connect on Sami, but Swann makes the save. Ace nearly wins it over Sami, but Jason Hodge of the Good Hands pulls the ref out of the ring. Skylar plants Ace while the ref is still down. Sami gets up and hits Ace with the Cactus Driver for the win. So the winners of this match is Sami Callihan and Rich Swann, and they will go on to face the Rascals next week to determine the number one contender to face Subculture for the Impact Tag Team Championships at Emergence. Overall, I thought this was a fun opening contest. I'm kind of surprised to see the Good Hands finagle their way in and kind of mess it up for ABC. So it seems that the Good Hands and ABC are going to be feuding for a little bit. It is a little unfortunate because I feel that ABC is kind of meandering a little bit since they lost their tag team championships. But as long as they continue to be on my screen, Ace Austin and Chris Bay are awesome. And I'm actually excited to see those two, along with the rest of Bullet Club, take on the Team Impact at Multiverse United 2 this weekend, which should be a fun show. So, next up, we get another match where we see Bhupinder Gujjar taking on Dirty Dango. So, before this match begins, we get a backstage segment where Santino is backstage hydrating when the Coven walk up. They say the energy and Impact has been off lately. They pitch themselves for a tag title match when the Death Dolls walk up and stake their claim for being added to Emergence. MK Ultra walk up. Kelly says they'll take them all on. So we're going to get that official announcement at the end of this episode. But jumping straight into the match, Gujjar versus Dirty Dango. Gujjar applies a left wrist lock to start before arm dragging Dango to the commercial break. When we come back, Dango's headlock turns into a shoulder block, but then Gujjar comes back with another arm drag and a drop kick. Gujjar then splashes into the corner and follows it with another drop kick for a cover. Dango rakes the eyes to break out of the hold. He attempts to cover before applying the headlock on the mat. Once back on his feet, Gujar hits a scissor kick and a flapjack, which is something I haven't seen in quite a bit. He tries to stomp Dango, but Dango evades. Knee strike connects, followed by a spine buster. Dango kicks out again. Gujar goes up to the top for the spear, but Bravo shines a flashlight in his eyes. Dango plants Gujar with the DDT for the win, so the winner of this match is Dirty Dango. We then get a small little promo after the match from Dango, which he says that he still hates pro wrestling even when he wins. At this point, Jake Something interrupts and marches down into the ring. He takes the mic from Dango, asks him if he knows how long it took him to get back to Impact. If Dango hates it so much, then he should get the hell out, or Jake will make him. Dango rolls out, but Bravo shares words with Jake. Dango tries to attack from behind, but Jake punches him to send him retreating. Okay, so I'm very interested. So this confirms that Jake Something has now re-signed with Impact Wrestling, and he's going to be here for a little bit, which makes me happy. I was sad when he initially left, and I thought AEW would pick him up because he did have a couple of matches on Dark when it was still around, but it seems that AEW didn't decide not to sign him, and I'm happy to see Jake back in Impact Wrestling. I love him. His character is great, and also as a Bi-Conic, hey, Jake Something, how we doing? But ultimately, Impact is missing a lot of big powerhouse men, and we got another return of another big powerhouse guy, but we'll talk about that more later. But it seems that Dirty Dango and Jake Something are going to be in a feud for a little bit, and I'm okay with it. This should be fun. We get a vignette from the design, which basically still pushes the feud that is happening with Eric Young, and we'll get a little bit more of that later. Next up, we see that Johnny Swinger is being interviewed backstage about training for his title shot. At halfway through the interview, Kenny King interrupts and hypes himself up as being bigger than the world champ Alex Shelley, but, we'll get into that a little bit. So we have our first knockouts match of the evening, where we see Jody Threat taking on Alicia Edwards. We start off this match by Threat clotheslining to start. She drags Alicia out of the corner and then throws herself back onto her. Threat charges to the corner, but Alicia throws a hand. Threat gets caught up in the ropes as Alicia drags her down to the mat. Alicia gloats for a moment before chopping Threat in the corner. Alicia scratches Jody's back, which fires Jody up. Alicia takes her down into a brief cover. We then see Threat crawling to the ropes, but ends up getting choked. Alicia chops her again until Threat cuts her off with a boot, followed by a shoulder tackle. Alicia is tossed face first into the turnbuckle before getting clobbered by corner clotheslines. Threat pump kicks her. Double knees in the ropes connect. Alicia is thrown with a German suplex, which is a lot of fun. Alicia rakes the eyes to escape. At this point, we see Eddie Edwards then use the kendo stick to trip Threat. Frankie Kazarian ambushes Eddie in return. Threat grabs Alicia and hits the F5 for the win, so the winner of this match is Jody Threat. After the match has ended, Kazarian accidentally whacks Alicia with the kendo stick as he winds up to hit Eddie. A bunch of the officials check on her as he's in shock. So it seems that Frankie and Eddie are still not done with their feud. Again, two veterans, going after each other, which is fine. But we've had this feud going on since Against All Odds in June. So I'm hoping if we get a match at Emergence or Victory Road, I'm hoping that is the end of it, and then both men can move on to do different things. But I'm always never going to really complain when you have the likes and caliber of Frankie Kazarian and Eddie Edwards jump into matches against each other, and I think it's going to be a good time all around. Okay, let's talk about my match of the night, because y'all, this next match is great, but before we get into it, we see backstage Deonna Purrazzo cutting a promo backstage, and she challenges Kylan King of the Coven to a singles match next week on Impact. On top of that, for her match against Kylan, she also offers an invitation to Trinity to come and watch the match as well, because we are still building up Trinity versus Deonna round 2 for the Knockouts Championship at Emergence. But what also got me going is that Deonna puts a challenge out to anyone in Stardom to come to Multiverse United to face her. Oh my gosh, Julia, like anybody from Stardom, I'm freaking here for, and I'm so excited to see who we get. I don't care who, I will take any Stardom girl because they're freaking amazing. But now, let's get into my match of the night. Speedball Mike Bailey versus Kushida. My gosh, this match is so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm a drool over this match, but let's start. So the bell rings, and then both wrestlers they start to chain wrestle to start with locked hands. Once free, they flip around each other before kicking each other in the chest. They meet head to head as the crowd is chanting for both of them. Then we see Mike Bailey take off as he starts kicking again, but this Kushida goes for a wrist lock. Bailey falls out of the ring, which leads Kushida to flip onto him. Back inside the ring, Kushida traps Bailey in a stretch before bending him back. Bailey grabs the rope to break. Kushida hits a cartwheel drop kick, which I love seeing from Kushida, which then prompts Bailey to come back with a single leg drop, and both take a moment before getting back up. Bailey gets more kicks in before a running shooting star cover. They trade chops in the center of the ring once again, and then Bailey pivots to the apron, but Kushida springboard kicks him off. Kushida slides out and sends Bailey into the post shoulder first. I was already in love with this match, but then it gets even better. We cut to commercial, and when we come back, Kushida kicks Bailey down again. Kushida picks apart an arm and then focus on the legs with a hold. His left knee gets slammed against the mat. Kushida goes up top to stomp on him with emphasis. Bailey tries for a kick, but Kushida rushes his knee to send him falling out. Kushida then slides out, but is immediately taken down by a moonsault off the ropes. Back inside, Bailey leaps off the top. Kushida gets his right arm kicked mid-springboard. With each man suffering a damaged limb, they kick each other several times again. Kushida traps Bailey in the hoverboard lock. Bailey gets to his feet and pivots it into an armbar twice. It was so good. Bailey backflips for double knees. Bailey shoots the half kick out. Another armbar applied, but Kushida's feet touches the ropes. They counter each other several more times until Bailey gets a knee to the face. Kushida grabs the rope again. Another kick to the face before the tornado kick lands. Bailey goes up top and gets cut off. Kushida throws a kick, then flips Bailey to the mat with the hoverboard lock-in. Bailey stands up, gets hit with a small package driver. The ref counts 3, and your winner of this match is Kushida. Lord have mercy, y'all. This was my match of the night. Speedball Mike Bailey continues to prove why he is awesome. I want to see him in the main title picture soon. Kushida is out here killing it, and because he still has his cash in for a future X Division Championship match, he's swirling around Leo Rush, and I hope Leo gets cleared enough so Leo will eventually face Kushida eventually. If not at Emergence, I would love to see this match happen at Victory Road because, ooh, baby, it's so good. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for that match. But this match between Speedball Mike Bailey and Kushida was my match of the night. Kudos to both men for killing it every week in Impact, and I would love to see these two fight forever. So next we get an interesting segment, right? So Tom Hannafan sits down with Crazy Steve of, well, Decay, as per Steve's request. So Steve says he needs Tom's help. He discusses how Courtney and Jessica, aka the Death Dolls, are on their own path while Black Taurus has his own match tonight. He's growing lonely. He references the menagerie, splitting from Abyss, and now his new Decay mates. He speaks on being legally blind, which brings its own challenges, which if nobody knows, the wrestler of Crazy Steve actually is partially blind in his eyes, which, is tough for him. Tom asks where Steve's family has been in all this. Steve says that it's a very interesting story and which is to be continued. Ooh, I don't know what's happening, but this might be a small character change direction for Crazy Steve. And Crazy Steve has been in Decay for a very long time. And honestly, I'm very interested to see what direction we go with Crazy Steve now that the Death Dolls are kind of doing their own thing, and so is Black Taurus. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of a change. I would like Crazy Steve to get one more run in Impact if he chooses to retire at the end of all this, man. I love Crazy Steve. He's fun in the ring. He's great in the ring. And we'll see what the future holds, and we'll see where the rest of the story goes. So, we then see footage where... So we see footage from Attack Pro Wrestling where Subculture defended the titles in the UK, which is to hype up the UK shows that Impact is doing in October. So that was a lot of fun. We also get the next segment where Joe Hendry interrupts a counseling session between a man and a woman. Yuya Uemura also pops up. Yuya simply says champion. Hendry can't believe he'd throw that in his face again. Hendry says that they're going to go their separate ways. Yuya says champions. Hendry starts to come around to the idea of going after Tag Gold. So Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura as a tag team, give it to me. But then that begs the question as to who's going to go up and face against Kenny King for the Digital Media Championship. But as long as Kenny King wrestles, I'm fine with it. I love this like oddball tag team of Joe Hendry and Yuya Uemura. So this should be a good time. Okay, in our main event segment, we have a 6-man tag where we see Bully Ray, Moose, and Brian Myers taking on Laredo Kid, Black Taurus, and a debuting in Impact, Samurai del Sol. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good match. I believe Samurai del Sol is the former Kalisto in WWE, but oh my gosh, this match is so fun. It almost came close to being my match of the night, but I still think Kushida and Speedball Mike Bailey was my favorite. But let's jump into this match. So Laredo and Taurus are waiting for Del Sol to enter when it's shown on the Tron that Leo Rush is attacking Del Sol backstage. Taurus and Myers start the bout. Laredo Kid eventually comes in with a missile drop kick to ground Myers. Moose tags in, but Kid can't arm drag him down. Kid manages to flip Moose over on another attempt. Moose rolls out to regroup with Myers. Bully gets in the tag, and so does Taurus. They give each other big chops and forearm shots. Taurus manages to hit a big shoulder block to knock Bully off his feet twice. Taurus charges the turnbuckle, but his knee hits the exposed part as Myers pulls Bully out. After the commercial break, Moose slings Myers into Taurus. Moose returns and slaps Taurus across the face. They trade headbutts to knock each other down. Myers and Kid come in off tags. Kid flips Myers over, then lands a neck breaker. Kid plants Moose with a DDT. Oh my goodness. This match was so much fun. At this point, Bully runs in, but gets flipped over as well. Kid splashes on all three in different quarters. Bully whips Kid into the ref as Moose takes Taurus off the apron. Bully and Myers double team Kid when the lights go out. All of a sudden, lightning strikes, and it's PCO in the ring with Bully. Bully is frozen in shock. Moose runs in but gets tossed out. Myers follows suit. PCO dives onto Moose and Myers as Bully retreats to the back. Taurus dives on Moose as Kid splashes on Myers. The ref rolls back in, but Myers kicks out. Myers and Moose double team Kid while the ref is still coming to. Myers hits Rooster Cut on Kid for the win. So your winners of this match is Brian Myers, Moose, and Bully Ray. We then cut to the final part of this week's Impact Wrestling, where Bully continues running away out of the building. He hijacks a car as PCO almost catches him, and Bully Ray drives off with PCO yelling at the car that is speeding away to end this week's Impact. Okay, so that is going to be it for the review. My final rating for this week's Impact Wrestling, I give this a solid 7.5. No. You know what? I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Again, solid wrestling. Storylines are continuing to progress. We see that... Oh, okay. So let me backtrack a little bit. So we got confirmation that an Emergence is going to be a fatal 4-way for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. It's going to be MK Ultra taking on the Shantaraj versus the Death Dolls versus the Coven. So we get 4 women's tag teams, the Knockouts tag teams in a match together. So we progressed that tonight. Trinity and Deanna are still getting some build. We had a women's match between Jody Threat and Alicia, and the women that weren't wrestling still got backstage segments or they got promos. This is how we do it, WWE and AEW. You can have all your women involved in some capacity or another. But back to my rating, I'm going to give this week's Impact an 8 out of 10. As I stated before, we are progressing storylines and we're slowly building to Emergence. I still have a couple of questions. I'm a little concerned for what happens with the booking of ABC because I think they're an amazing tag team. I'm happy to see PCO back. And I know that we're revisiting the storyline, but, you know, things had to get rewritten because Steve Macklin is injured. I'm also I was surprised not to see anything from Josh Alexander this week, but hopefully we'll see something next week. And I know Josh is wrestling at Multiverse United this weekend, so that's going to be a lot of fun, but we shall see. But once again, this was an awesome week of Impact. I highly encourage you, if you're already watching Impact, please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this week's episode. And please share with everybody else. I want people to see that Impact is doing amazing things, that they're no longer just the secondary brand or this tiny little brand that people say to be. Yes, their roster is small, but holy crap, they put on banger matches and they have some really awesome men and women's talent, and everybody gets utilized in some capacity or another. But that is going to be it for my Beat the Clock review this week for Impact Wrestling. If you enjoy more Beat the Clock TV reviews, you can check out all the other long-form reviews here. We pretty much cover everything from WWE, AEW TV programming, Ring of Honor, and Impact Wrestling. Check out our Ring of Honor episode from earlier today, where me and JVL break down another interesting episode, and we go into what we would like to see for the Ring of Honor roster. If you want to follow us on social medias, you can follow us there to stay posted on when these videos go live, as well as get some sneak peeks behind the scenes. So make sure to find us at BC WrestlePod all over the social medias. And if you're looking for something a little bit different, you can catch us wherever any and all podcasts are found for the Bi-Conics Wrestling Podcast, where we talk about our passions, who our favorite wrestlers are, the issues that are going on. We have a good time. We will love to interact with you also. Please make sure to comment, hit that bell on the YouTube channel to stay notified, share with all your friends. Word of mouth is the greatest thing, and make sure to subscribe. But that is going to be it for me. This has once again been Mikey for your Impact Wrestling review. And from all of us here at the Bi-Conics, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and until next time, adios, sayonara, and thanks for watching. Ta-ta for now.